It's the Tennessee Volunteers and the NC State Wolfpack getting together for the Dukes Mayo Classic in Charlotte this coming Saturday, 7:30 on ABC. I'm going to talk about that in just a second. Welcome to the channel. I'm glad you're here. I am Brian. Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday. We made it this far, y'all. Some of you, your team did great this past weekend. I wish that I could say the same. But we made it, and it is college football season. I hope you'll subscribe. If you hadn't subscribed already, I really do appreciate it. It's free. And yeah, if you like what I'm doing, even if you hate the look on my face, still subscribe. I mean, sometimes you just got to let the hate out of your heart. Tell me where that quote came from. Let's talk about Tennessee and NC State. Both of these teams have some similarities. Obviously, they're Southern teams. One's in the SEC, one's in the ACC, but they're Southern teams. They both opened up with FCS schools. Both teams have a new starting quarterback. Yes, Nico was with Tennessee last year, but Joe Milton was the man. But everybody knew that Nico would be taking over. NC State, on the other hand, they went and got Coastal Carolina's leading passer, the guy who led them to the big win over BYU back in 2020, set the college football world on fire, Grayson McCall. Transfers in this year to the Raleigh area, doing his thing. So both teams has a new starting quarterback. But this past weekend was very different for both of them. Now, NC State played on Thursday. Tennessee played on Saturday. Both played at FCS school. But the outcome was very different. I mean, there was not one point in that Tennessee UT Chattanooga game that you believe that UT Chattanooga was even going to beat them. Even remotely was going to beat them. Not at all. There was not one moment that Josh Heupel's butt puckered for a second going, oh no, they might beat us. But I can't say the same for NC State because a little old team from Cullowhee, North Carolina. If you don't know where Cullowhee's at, let me tell you. If you go over towards Cherokee, North Carolina, you're going to find Western Carolina. Western Carolina FCS school, SoCon school. They went into Carter Finley. And Carter Finley's a lot more difficult to play in what you realize. It gets crazy up there in Raleigh. They got a good atmosphere there. Last two times Clemson's went up there, they've lost. By the way, Clemson's only lost to NC State 5 times since 2002. 2 of those times have been the last 2 times Clemson's went up there. That's another team, another story, another video. Yes, I'm salty, whatever that means. But that didn't bother Western Carolina. In fact, they were up 21-17 in the fourth quarter. What does that have to do with this game? Because if you want to rebut me and you say, hey, look, it was the first game of the year. New quarterback for NC State. They have a bunch of transfers there. They got the running back from Duke. They got Noah Rogers, the transfer from Ohio State. I think the top defensive back for NC State didn't play. I think he was injured or something. Yeah, but really? You mean Western Carolina could give you that much of a game at home? I watched that game. It was scary. NC State's defense got pushed around by the FCS school from little old Cullowhee, North Carolina. They did. I watched it. Tennessee, on the other hand, dropped their drawers and doo-dooed all over UT Chattanooga. And that leads me to this Saturday. Now, if you talk to either fan base and they're not drunk and they're actually kind of logical when it comes to football, they'll tell you that their concern for both teams is the defense. Now, Tennessee, they've got James Pierce, that guy, he's incredible, and they have some other players that if you're a Tennessee fan, you're going to know them, you're going to love them, some guys that flies under the radar. The question on Tennessee's side of the football, namely the defense, is the secondary. That's something that you'll hear no matter who you listen to, a Tennessee fan or just some big-name sports guy, or whether it's a guy like me who's in his bonus room talking about the team. You know that Tennessee's secondary is like the season really hinges upon how well or poorly they do. NC State, on the other hand, kind of the same, but here's the problem. Except for a good player here or there, it's their entire defense. Now, the difference between Tennessee and NC State is that Tennessee has to play a pretty difficult schedule in the SEC. I mean, it's not easy at all. And in fact, I'm going to pull up that schedule and I'm going to share it with you because, well, it's going to hold some weight here in just a second. You're going to see this and you're going to go, whoa. Well, I get where Murtis is going here. Yes, I called myself Murtis. It's a fun name to say. All right, do you see that? Look at that. Tennessee plays NC State. All right? Get down here, Kent State. Then you're at Oklahoma. You play Arkansas. You play Florida. I know that those teams are not great, but Florida always plays up for Tennessee. Then you got Bama. You got Kentucky. You got to play Georgia. All right? So you're sitting there going, all right. I kind of see what you're saying. It's a tougher schedule. Let's go over here. Let's go over here to NC State's schedule. You have, and I hope nothing's playing in the background, one of these weird videos. You have Tennessee, then you have La Tech, you're at Clemson, and then after that, look at that. Bad game, questionable game, bad game, meaning there's not great talent. Duke, Georgia Tech might be the strongest team on the schedule after Clemson, and no offense to my Tigers, other than their defense, really how tough is Clemson? So my point in bringing this up is that Tennessee, they have teams like Georgia and Alabama and Oklahoma to worry about after this game. But NC State, no. Back it up, my friend. They have this game. And Clemson? I mean, Georgia Tech did good in their first week, but then again, how bad is Florida State? I mean, sure, you win your games, but I mean, Georgia Tech, the verdict's still out on them. Let's not crown them the ACC champions just yet. Also, don't do that on Miami either, but, let them earn it. Because remember, Miami's been coming back for a long time. Oh, this is the year. They're different this year. And they end up with the same record. Different must mean something different to them than it does to me. But NC State has this game. This is the game of the year for them. Tennessee, they have all these other big games. Tennessee does not have a 1 or 2 game season. They have a bunch of games. They're going to have to show up and they're going to have to show out. They can't come in and fart around. But NC State, can they get up enough for this game? Can they come in and say, look, we know we played crappy against the teeny tiny school from Western Carolina. We know we did. But we were breaking in our new quarterback, and we all know he can play. I'm a big fan of Grayson McCall. As someone, if we could have went into the transfer portal and got him at Clemson, that would have been amazing. But me as a Clemson fan, I have to understand that when you mention the transfer portal, that's like speaking Mandarin to me. I don't know Mandarin. I don't even know how to say hello in Mandarin. So I'm lost because I'm a Clemson fan. We don't take transfers here unless you want to become a grad assistant. But Grayson McCall is the man. The problem with him is that he's had a lot of injuries because he's a guy who'll lower his shoulder. Notice he's trying not to do that as much because it's cost him. He's got hurt a lot because of it. But Grayson McCall can play. The problem is their defense. And this, I'm going to get to the point. I believe NC State's defense, except for a couple of players, is that bad. I believe that their offense will come out and they will move the ball on Tennessee, and I do believe that their offense will score. I just think the other side of the football, where you have Nico, you have Squirrel White, Brew McCoy, you have these guys. I know I'm missing someone. You Tennessee fans, go ahead and straighten me out. Go for it. I just believe that Tennessee, they will have to stop themselves because NC State's defense is that bad. Really. It's that bad. I saw that little FCS school push them around like an older brother shoves around his little brother. It did not look good. And if you looked at the score and you're like, well, Brian, NC State won 38-21. Again, NC State was down 21-17 at the beginning of the fourth quarter. And that touchdown at the end by NC State to make it look a little more dominating happened at the last second. Western Carolina knew they were done. So if you were just flipping through the scores and on your app or through the paper or watching television, you saw, oh, NC State, they gave up 21 points, but hey, they scored 38. That's not the whole story. Tennessee, on the other hand, they look dominant. And their quarterback, I want to talk about Nico. This kid, the way he throws the ball looks different. The way he throws the ball reminds me of the truly elite quarterbacks that we've seen at Clemson. You know, we don't have, I'm not even going to knock our current quarterback. I'm going to knock our entire offensive coaching staff for the most part. Not all of them, but most of them. There's problems in Clemson, but we don't have that type of play on the offense anymore. We don't. We can remember it. And I'm telling you, from watching Trevor Lawrence, from watching Deshaun Watson come out there and toast people, watching Nico throw the football reminds me a lot of them. That commanding, I know what I'm doing. I don't need to get psyched up for this. I don't need a few years to develop. I am here. I have the tools around me. I have the offensive genius behind me. Everything is working in my favor, and I'm not going to go out there and blow it. I think that kid is that good. I think Nico is that good. I think that Tennessee finally has that quarterback behind him. Now, I'm not taking away from what Hendon Hooker did a few years ago. Hendon Hooker did something that shocked a lot of us. It shocked a lot of Tennessee fans as well. They're glad that it happened. But Hendon had to get warmed up. Remember, he was at Virginia Tech. Nico, he's fired up and ready to run the race, man. And I believe that guy is the difference. Now, if you go in and you look at the spread for this game, of course, it's going to be in Charlotte, North Carolina. Tennessee's a 10-point favorite right now. Tennessee is a 10-point favorite. And according to the matchup predictor on ESPN, which, I mean, who really knows what that means, how much that should play into it, they basically have an 88% chance of beating the Wolfpack. Okay? But I would tell you this, I've seen this matchup predictor do pretty well for itself. And I'll have to say, I agree with the matchup predictor. I believe that the Tennessee Volunteers is going to come out and they're going to put on an offensive explosion. I'm not saying NC State won't. Especially if Grayson McCall comes out there and does what he has been doing for quite a while. I believe you will see NC State put up a fight. I just think NC State's defense is that bad that I just don't see them getting a stop. I really don't. Maybe one stop in the game, maybe two. But I think NC State's defense is that poor, and Tennessee's offense is just that good. So I have Tennessee winning this ball game. I have them winning the game by more than 10 points. I believe you're going to see Tennessee score somewhere between 30 to 35 points. I'm looking at NC State 10 to 14 points. I think Tennessee hands it to them because the defense is just that bad. Leave your comment below. Let me know what you think about this game. Who do you believe is going to win? And drop that line in there. Also, if you haven't subscribed, I hope you'll subscribe. It is free. Pass this along to all your friends, neighbors, clergymen who enjoy us talking college football. It's here, even if it's been a rough season already. I'm glad. Y'all take care of yourself. As always, go Tigers.